2008, I work at Fox Racing up in Northern California, old Morgan Hill office. So the way the story goes is Davey Castillo from Asterisk Knee Braces was friends with the guys from Slipknot. I think like during their first seasons, early days of touring were big in the moto. I thought somebody said that they even used to bring bikes along on some of the tours. Castillo had introduced Hicks to the guys and they stayed friends. Well, I always bothered poor Todd about going to some shows if they ever came to town. And as luck would have it, they were just doing their, I'll have to look that one up. So Slipknot's coming to town, and I'm like, got a thumb on the back of Todd's neck to be hitting up Jim Root, guitarist. I think he's number 2 over there at Slipknot. Todd surprises me. We end up getting tickets. So there's a cool little group of us going from Fox to go see the show. We get there, and Todd's texting back and forth with Jim. Next thing we know, here comes this 6'6" dude pedaling up like on a bicycle in the middle of this crowd, and it's Jim. He ends up being super rad. We're like rapping back and forth. Of course, back then they weren't really unmasked. A lot of people didn't know who they were. He hands us one of his hard cards. He tells Hicks, "Don't lose this thing. I only get 2." I'm like, holy shit, how did we end up with like Jim's hard card? So we kind of say sayonara. He goes back to go do his thing. We go to do our thing. So we're cruising around looking at some of the other side stage and listening to some tunes. Fast forward a little bit later, we decide to go say hi to like Jim backstage. So we go over there, chilling with him, and we walked over and we're watching from the side stage. I think this was around the same time that, not long after Dimebag had gotten killed, so security was a little on edge for anybody being backstage, I think. But we ended up watching some of the shows from the side stage. I want to say it was Disturbed. I can't remember who else was there. Cruising around backstage, outside amphitheater, way sick. Met some of the guys from the band, and guitar tech for Jim happened to have on Fox gloves, and at the time I was the developer for Fox Racing on the gloves. So him and I kind of hit it off, sitting around BSing about gloves and guitars. I'm sort of a would-be, wannabe drummer, so getting to lay my eyes on Joey Jordison's drum set was going to be sort of the pinnacle of coolness that night. And there it was, his set all set up, I'm getting ready to go out. I got to get up close and personal. Like, that was pretty dope. Later on, show goes down. Jim, as we're sitting there, he was watching beside with us with Disturbed. And at one point, we were talking about his mask, and he was like, "Oh, you want to see it?" We're like, yeah. This cat like runs down stairs, goes into his dressing room, comes back out, brings his mask. My friend Jindy, who was Todd's girlfriend, also worked at Fox. She's got the mask on. He's laughing, going like, "Man, you wouldn't put that on if you knew like, how many times I've spit and puked and all sorts of stuff within that mask." But of course, we wouldn't care. That's pretty sick. Jim Root let us like play with his mask. Couldn't believe it. Just all that part of the day was ridiculously cool. Like this cat like hanging out with us. Here he is, headlining tour. They're the headliners. Their second show of the tour, and he's hanging out with like some dudes from Fox. I don't know why he wouldn't have been like, chilling with like his band or like going and see other shows or whatever he would be doing, but he's hanging with us. And it was rad. It's time for show. So he's like, "Hey, we've got some pyrotechnics. They're not going to let you guys sit here like on the side. You're going to have to go to your seats." So we got our seats. Show takes off. Everybody's like jamming. super sick. We get done. We go backstage. He comes walking out. You tell he had just showered. Throws his like wet hair back. Plops down. We're sitting at a picnic table or a little round table. It's outside. Got to be about 11:30 that night. And he goes, so where were you guys sitting? I was looking all over for you. I'm like, what? It's like, you're up there, you know, rocking to Six and Heretic Anthem, and you're wondering like where some dudes from Fox were like sitting out there. That was the kind of cool stuff that was just kind of blowing all of our minds. Like, he was so rad. And we ended up like sitting back there. We talked business, just a lot of insightful things to like what it goes on of being a rock star. So we get done, call it a night. It's late. They've got to take off from Shoreline Amphitheater, San Francisco, drive down to San Bernardino, which, as you know, is where Glen Helen is, because they got to do it all over again the next day. So we get done. All right, man, say our goodbyes. He's like, well, hold on, I'll walk you out. I'm like, all right, you don't have to do that. So we go walking out, and he goes, oh, do you want to see inside the tour bus? I'm like, yeah, of course we want to see inside the tour bus. So he takes us inside. There's 2 tour buses. Mind you, he's 6'6". Takes us over, pulls back the little curtain. There's his bed, TV like on the wall. And this 6'6" cat lays in this bed every night, you know, tip to tail, touching. Hardly a real rock star life, but that's how they like travel. And it was kind of mind boggling to see like how they live. And that's how things go for being a top level heavy metal artist. I'm sure if you're the Rolling Stones or something like that, maybe you fly to every event. I don't know, but these guys were 3 albums in, 4th album in, and this is how they did it. So would have been like 7 or 8 hour drive, 6 hour drive from there down to San Bernardino and do this all over again. Walking out, we say our goodbyes. These kids see him. They walk over like, dude, you're Jim Root. And he's like, yeah. Like, can we get an autograph? He's like, do you have a marker? And they're like, we don't. And he's like, well, hold on, I'll go get one. He walks back to like wherever he was to go get a marker to come back to sign autographs for these guys. But at that point, we gave our hugs. We walk out. Todd Hicks, who's taking care of James Stewart, Ricky Carmichael, Wyndham, anybody who's got a big name who's ever worn Fox like in their life has crossed paths with Hicks. So he's no stranger to celebrities. And he knows plenty of other real celebrities. But as we were walking away, and I knew what I had just experienced was one of the raddest days that I'd ever had. And Hicks goes, well, that was sick. And that to me told me that it wasn't just like rad for me, but it was rad for him as well. And for the guys in Slipknot, they were all super cool. Jim was amazing. And it's a day that I'll always like be stuck in my head that was made that way. That was an opportunity that was given to me because I worked in the moto industry. Could have happened had I not worked in the moto industry, but it was the connections that I had from moto that got me there that day and gave me this like rad story. So given the news that happened yesterday with drummer Joey Jordison, I thought it would be a cool little story to tell and remember for myself. Hope you enjoyed it.